Father tries escaping police after killing entire family. This sounds crazy. Let's see.
Stand by.
This is Jason Carrolls, and he's currently being chased by 12 police cars and 1 police helicopter.
Coming up on break. We stuck a little bit of traffic here.
The reason is that just a few hours ago, he killed all 3 of his children to get back at his wife for divorcing him.
What's going on?
I don't know.
Why'd you do it?
I think I felt like I was saving them.
However, this car chase would end in a disaster.
Steel bridge coming up. He's swerving.
It all started on Monday morning of June 13th, 2022. The police department of Round Lake, Illinois, received a shocking phone call from 30-year-old Debbie Carrolls, who had just discovered her kids unresponsive.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
I'm at Camden Lane. My husband, my kids.
Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
I came home to take the kids, and they're all on the bed, and they're...
Okay, all right. How many children?
3.
How were they killed?
Please. They're cold. They're cold.
Okay.
Please.
Ma'am? Ma'am, how were they killed?
I don't know. Maybe he suffocated them or cut them. They're laid in the bed. I'm assuming he choked them.
Okay, where are you right now, ma'am? Okay, we have officers there. Where are you right now?
I'm upstairs. They come inside. I'm upstairs.
Okay, she's upstairs.
Please, you guys, wake up, please.
Upstairs with the children.
We gotta get in there with the rest of you guys. Let's just go in. Let's just go in. I think we have enough. We're at 42 locations.
Police!
Police department!
Police!
Coming up!
Coming up!
I got blood here.
There's blood all over.
I didn't see here. Is there anybody else in the house, ma'am? What? Is there anybody else in the house?
I don't know.
What's going on? Okay.
Okay, ma'am, do you have any weapons?
No, I don't have
Okay,
any
I'm
weapons.
gonna have you step out here with me, okay? Come on here.
Step out of the room.
Okay, come on here.
When officers made it to this horrifying scene, they quickly escorted the traumatized mother out of the room, and inside, they found her 3 kids, Bryant, Cassidy, and Gideon, all lying in the same bed, completely unresponsive. As of now, all the information officers have comes from Debbie's 911 call, where she claimed her husband committed the act. However, he is nowhere to be found, so they decide to ask her.
You haven't spoken to him at all today? No.
Last night.
Okay.
Where you come from there, sir?
Where am I coming from?
Yeah.
My mom's home.
Debbie would go on to explain that she drove to this house to pick up the kids from Jason Carrolls, her 36-year-old ex-husband with whom she'd been going through a divorce. 2 days prior to this crime, Debbie said she had given Jason their 3 kids to spend time with him, not realizing this would be the last time she saw them alive. When it was time to pick them back up, Jason wouldn't answer the calls, making Debbie grow nervous. That's when she decided to check up on her children herself, only to discover the scene Jason left behind. These facts alone are enough to make Jason the prime suspect. Police officers decide to check on the whole house and confirm that the suspect is on the loose and not hiding somewhere at the crime scene.
I want to make sure no one is hiding in the house that we're missing out on. If you guys want to be, I'm going to check the rest of these rooms. Police department! I got a knife in the bathroom.
You got a knife there?
I got a knife in the bathroom.
Okay,
Okay.
let's leave the house.
This address sounds familiar. Yeah, I'll come from over here and look in there. No, I don't see anything in here. So I feel pretty confident up here. I'm guessing we shouldn't have anybody but a rescue come up, right?
Rescue's coming up.
And that's it.
It seems like Jason is not in the house. The only thing this female officer finds is this knife near the bloodied sink, along with a bloody razor blade. These could be possible murder weapons that Jason used in this disturbing crime. However, these could be possible is this knife near the bloodied sink, along with a bloody razor blade. These could be possible murder weapons that Jason used in this disturbing crime. However, when the medical examiners arrived at the scene and had their first look of the victims, they would quickly dismiss this theory entirely.
So, do you guys see the wounds on the kids? Because there's a lot of blood. I don't want to make you guys touch or anything with the body.
I don't see anything other than blood to the hands here.
I mean, it's nothing that would ever be worth resuscitating at this point because they're just... What I'm wondering is if this is Dad.
I'm not sure whose that is, but I don't believe it's one of theirs.
The victims had large, strange markings on their necks. The lips, skin, and even nails on all three of them were completely blue. It was clear the victims had been choked, but there were no signs of stab wounds or similar on their bodies. This made the officers question where exactly all the blood had come from. In every room the officers would look through, there were pools of it, especially in the master bedroom where the victims were found. This is where one of the officers would find a trail of blood droplets leading downstairs into the kitchen, where she would find their biggest clue yet. A letter to Debbie. Despite the difficult handwriting, there are several clues in the narrative proving that Jason Carrolls wrote this note and left it in plain sight for Debbie to find. According to Jason, their marriage lasted for 7 years before they filed for divorce and fought in court over the full custody of their children. Halfway through the note, it seems that Jason lost the court. And this is also confirmed by the disturbing sentence written in the middle of the note. If I can't have them, neither can you. Finally,
something's wrong, bro.
Jason ends the letter by saying he would end everything on his terms. Yet it wasn't the most horrifying thing the officer would discover in the same room. She'd find another writing, now on the board. I'm sorry, I loved them too much to leave them behind. You promised, you swore, you lied. This is not just evidence. This is a confession that whatever happened to their kids, he knows the absolute truth. But if he did what he promised to do, then police officers would have more trouble finding his body than his confession. But luck was on the officer's side this time. Something was missing in that house, specifically in the garage. Jason's red 2010 Nissan Maxima, a significant clue that would help them find Jason. Moments later, the Round Lake Beach police would alert police departments across the Chicago area to look for that exact car. The clock was ticking, but it wouldn't be long before an Illinois state officer discovered a car that fit the description perfectly and attempted a traffic stop. They weren't sure if this was their guy until the driver stepped on the gas and sped away quickly. This would result in a major police chase that would draft helicopters and a dozen units, ending in absolute disaster. But before we get to that, we gotta talk about the sponsor of today's video. Start your claim and calling all available units to help catch him, including a police helicopter equipped with thermal vision. The adrenaline-pumping chase continued like this for 17 minutes, with police driving as fast as possible, but Jason somehow going quicker, even managing to slip out of the helicopter's vision for a brief time.
You got visual?
Stationary westbound center with K92.
We're westbound Patsy Richards, westbound Patsy Richards.
Alright, 130's going to fall on almost 8 units. Looks like he's got a 1050 on 80 here.
Outside shoulder now, outside shoulder. We're right on him now, he's caught up to traffic.
541 on him.
I got him too, I got him too.
Yep, moving over.
Come up on bridge. Come up on bridge. Outside shoulder.
If Jason had more fuel than the helicopter, there might have been a slight chance he could have gotten away, but suddenly, this happens.
Westbound passenger.
Away, but suddenly, this happens.
Westbound passenger cargo. Steel bridge coming up. Steel bridge coming up. Continuing. Up. Vehicles off the roadway. Vehicles off the roadway here at. He came all the way down. Sorry. Water Street and Duncan. Water Street, Duncan.
I can't see. Can you see?
I got no eyes on him. Got no eyes on him. Keep him there. All right, man. Keep him there. Don't move here. I know you're fucked up, right? Don't move.
Can you see his hands?
Yeah. Put your hands here. Keep him up. No, I'm not gonna shoot you. Put your hands.
Put your hands out the car. Put your other hand out the car.
You got any weapons in the car? No, sir, I don't know. No knives, no nothing.
My plan was to.
What? Leg right now, lacerations up on the arms.
My plan was to drive.
Hey, man, can you feel your feet?
A little bit.
So, Willie, don't move your legs. Move over your toes right now. Anything else hurt? You don't know? Keep your eyes open for us, okay, bud? What's that? That's good, man. Hey, the good news is you didn't hurt anyone. I mean, besides yourself.
Further inspection of Jason's state proves that Jason is unharmed, but clearly struggles to stay semi-conscious. But even then, he has enough strength to admit what he did back at the house.
What's that? You think you hurt your kids?
They tried to get over, man. I woke up, and then all of a sudden, they were dead. And I didn't even.
You don't remember what happened?
I mean, I know what I did, but I didn't feel like it was me doing it. I don't understand.
All right, man. Well, we're gonna get you the help you need, okay? Where are you from?
Don't you know? There's stuff from your head, but you know what I did.
I've heard some stuff. I mean, it's all kind of new to me. I mean, I'm not gathering enough based on what you said.
To be with them.
So hey, we gotta get him out, but I want to keep control of his hands. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Figure this out with the fire department.
For the next 10 minutes, a team of rescuers would be working hard to cut off the roof of his vehicle and get him out safely. Although he looks mostly uninjured, the EMS cannot take their chances and take him to the nearest hospital. It would be an absolute miracle for Jason not to have any damages, especially after a disastrous crash. He somehow survived, escaping death this day. But the person he couldn't escape no matter what was Detective Barrera. After being informed of Jason's stable condition, he and his partner were dispatched to the hospital. Their only goal was to get as much information out of Jason as possible about what had happened hours earlier, but more importantly, why it happened. To do this, they'd start with talking about his relationship to his former wife and the mother of his children.
So what's going on in your wife, man? I mean, from my understanding, you guys had some issues, or
Well, my side of it is you can go and look back at like text messages, phone calls, like since we met each other. I've always complained about how she makes up things to justify how she treats me. And I put up with it because I have no self-worth. And she's always like manipulated me and like put me down and been mean to me. And the only time like I've really been mean to her is when it's like I'm not even being mean. It's more like it's like she said something mean or rude that's not true to hurt me, so I say something mean back because I know if I say something mean, she'll tell me the truth.
Clearly, this doesn't make much sense. It seems like Jason might be trying to portray his wife as a manipulative and toxic partner. However, it's hard to tell if this is a genuine feeling or simply an attempt to gain sympathy from the officer. So Detective Barrera decides to keep digging.
So what all transpired today? I mean, you guys are married still, from my understanding, or
Separated.
You guys are separated, but legally still married?
I found out the day before yesterday that she cheated on me and left me for another guy the day after my birthday.
Okay.
And then she's been keeping the kids from me, but she claims that she hasn't. But the truth is I thought she was keeping the kids from me. But the truth is she was seeing somebody instead of like calling me with the kids. And you know what I'm saying? Like I found out she was cheating and she was lying, just lying to me. And like I was just very adamant about it. Because like when you're with someone for 7 years, like you know their poker face, you know what I mean? Like you know when they're lying to you.
I get you.
Like, especially someone that lies as much as she does to me and yourself.
Jason is describing his wife as manipulative, mean, and the problem in their relationship, which seems unlikely given what they know he's done. This conversation is going nowhere, so the officer decides to move on to more important things. What happened to the kids?
If I'm being honest with you, sir, I don't know why I did what I did, but like I know what I told myself when I did it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like,
what was that?
And it was like that they were that like they deserved to be with me, and that I felt like she was neglecting them, and I wanted myself, and for some reason I thought it was okay to hurt them too. I don't know why I did that. Like I thought we would be together, like you know, and whatever's after this life, like, you know, and like the whole time I was trying to get myself at home, I kept telling myself they're waiting for you, you have to be with them.
Was it something that you wanted to, for her to feel your pain in that sense, or you know?
Say yes or no to that.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't think so.
Okay. What exactly?
I just didn't want to be in pain, and I think I told myself that, and you'll actually hear it in the last time we talked. I told her it's like if I'm not around, you're just gonna start taking it out on them, and they don't deserve that. And I think I felt like I was saving them. I don't know why.
Saving them in
like from going through the pain that I did.
It's almost as
Nah, he's tripping. If anything, just leave them alone and go get the milk, bro. I know that may sound so messed up, but he killed them. He killed them. Like, he killed them, bro.
though he believes what he did was reasonable, at least in the moment he did it. If this is indeed the case, it's likely he is genuinely mentally ill, which means he had limited control over what he did and can claim that in a court of law. But regardless of if he is mentally ill or not, detectives still need to build a case against him, so they decide to dig deeper into what exactly he did to his kids.
kind of walk me through today, kind of what was going on. How were the kids? Were they joyful, playful?
They were awesome.
Yeah? I mean, they wasn't like frustrating?
Like, this was yesterday and the day before.
What was?
I did everything I did. I started doing this morning at 1 in the morning.
So 1 in the morning is when everything happened?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what was going on? Because I know you guys spoke on the phone yesterday, right?
This game.
What time did your guys' phone call end?
I want to say about midnight.
About midnight?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys' phone call ends around midnight.
Yeah.
And then what happens? Were you drinking? You say you don't drink, right? Okay. No. Hey. No, absolutely. Okay. So then what kind of happened? What kind of triggered you? After the phone call ended, were kids sleeping or were they up?
We were
Everybody
watching TV, and then I knew I had to give him a bath.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just, something in my brain snapped because of the things she said to me on the phone.
What was it that she said?
That it's weird because she did say some nice things to me in the end, but it's like she said that I was nothing, that I deserved nothing, that I was a terrible father, a terrible husband, and like all these things, and it was like, I don't know, something snapped in me, and and I know that makes it seem like I was trying to get back at her, but it was like, it was never about getting back at her. It was about as fucked up as it sounds, was doing something for myself.
Okay.
And that's what I told myself.
Yeah.
The detective makes a final note and leaves Jason on a little break before they can continue questioning. There might be something Jason hasn't mentioned yet. Something like a sheet of paper with his handwriting lying on a kitchen table and a short note on the board. Detective Barrera comes back shortly after and informs Jason that there will be cops watching him for the next 24 hours to make sure he doesn't run away or try to harm himself. Barrera then recites the whole timeline to ensure they're on the right track, with Jason making minor adjustments to the story, and eventually Barrera stops to question Jason about one final crucial detail.
One thing I did want to ask was, so I know one of the officers noticed there was a note left on what was in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Now was that when you left the house?
So something snapped at me. I wrote the letter and then I did it.
Okay. That makes sense then. I haven't seen it, so that's why I was just looking for some help there.
I think it starts off like I mentioned about how she swore on the kids' lives that she wasn't cheating on me, and and then I said I hope it was worth it. It was it wasn't like. I hope it was worth it. I'm getting back at you. I was hoping it worth it. You pushed me to do something for myself.
Okay. So she swore on the kids' lives that she wasn't cheating on you.
Yeah.
In reality, she was.
Snap. I don't know. Maybe
So then you, basically in your head, you're saying. You're thinking, and again, correct me if I'm wrong. Any moment,
I'll admit, part of me thought, if she's going to swear in their lives, they belong to be with me, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
This statement confirms the writing on the board. You promised, you swore, you lied. It seems like his supposed mental illness and urge to, quote, save his children were not his only reasons for doing this. These statements make it seem like Jason partly did this to get back at his ex-wife for cheating on him, leaving him, and taking his children. It almost seems like he did all this to make her feel what he felt. However, at this point, Jason needed to rest, and the officers decided they were best off continuing interrogations the next day. Early the following morning, police officers would escort Jason out of the hospital in a robe and get him to the police station, where he would be placed inside an empty room and left with his thoughts. However, he was unaware that his ex-wife Debbie was sitting in an interrogation area only feet away from him. Debbie is sitting in a room filled with toys, coloring books, and a comfortable sofa, an extreme contrast to that of Jason's interrogation room. The reason for this is that they know for certain Debbie wasn't behind any of this, and that she's likely extremely traumatized and vulnerable right now. Their best chance at getting any information from her is to ensure that she feels as comfortable and safe as possible. Jason, on the other hand, will be put under pressure to confess as much as possible. As of now, Debbie has no confirmation that Jason was the killer. She also doesn't know that he was caught just hours earlier. So now, it's time to break the news.
Hey, Jenny.
I know we spoke earlier. I'm sorry, I don't, this isn't part of my job I enjoy. But I do have to officially, do this, and I have to notify you that he did your 3 children.
I don't believe it. Did you find him?
Yes.
Is he dead?
No.
Where did you find him?
The police chased about an hour and 30 minutes away from here. He's in custody, and we're going to do our best. I'm a detective. I'm a detective unit. We're going to charge him as best as we can. We're going to do this right.
Everything Jason said up to this point was nothing but his own version of events. And Debbie, well, she never got the chance to talk about what she saw that day and what it made her feel. As a victim, her voice matters the most, and that voice would be the final nail in Jason's coffin.
I woke up, I ate, I didn't contact them until I was on the way to get them because they had the doctor's appointment today. When I went to Walmart to get diapers, I went to Walmart to get some fans for their playback. I get a bathing suit for my daughter, and then I went there and I opened the garage door and didn't notice anything. I didn't really think about it. I walked in and I looked to the right and I saw the door broken off the hinges, and then I saw drops of blood. And then I turned around and looked in the garage, and I saw that his car was gone. I started calling him because I thought maybe he took the kids or went somewhere. And then I heard his phone upstairs. So I started walking up the stairs, and I just saw more blood, and then just started saying to myself, no, God, please no, please no. And I go in the room, and I saw all 3 of them there on the bed. And they were waking up. They were so cold.
While Debbie was spilling her heart out, little did she know, Jason was sitting in the room next to her, staring down into the emptiness. Her ex-husband, the father of their kids, and a vicious murderer. It's hard to understand what he thinks at that moment, the memories he had with his children, or the regret he feels for making them leave this world too early. After 10 minutes of complete silence, Detective Barrera returns to the interrogation room for his second and last conversation with Jason, with no idea that he was about to discover a major piece of this story that could have prevented this entire massacre from ever happening.
How's your work situation? Do you work during the weekend?
No, I don't work at all. That's why I felt like I should be watching and seeing them a lot more.
Okay, all right. How long have you been unemployed?
Since December.
Since December? Okay. What did you do before?
I worked at Bob's Shins Crab House.
Bob's Shins Crab House. Okay. Are you still keeping contact with your coworkers there? No? Okay. So, ever talk to any of them?
I did reach out to one of them after I found out that he was cheating because she had claimed that she met him at a bar and that one of her coworkers gave him her number. So I just messaged whoever. I was like, hey, can I ask you a question? And he was like, oh, sorry, I didn't get that. I was like, oh, never mind. Like, I figured it out. And then I kind of broke down later, and I was like, I just found out. And I told him, like, everything, because he was the one person that I felt like I could trust.
Have you talked to him since?
No,
how long ago have you had contact with him?
That was like 2 days, or that was like Saturday or Sunday.
And so Saturday, the kids get dropped off. Around what time did they get dropped off?
I want to say 1. It was afternoon.
Afternoon?
Yeah.
Okay. How were the kids? Were they happy to see you? Joyful?
Yeah, they were happy to see me. And like, well, because the kids were outside playing on the swings and stuff, so like I started asking around, like I was very like calm and I was just asking questions about like, you know, who she was seeing, like, you know, how she met him and stuff. And then, and she would say like she didn't want to talk about it anymore. And I would say stuff like, what do you have to lose? Like whether you cheated on me or not, it doesn't change anything with the custody battle, because Illinois, like I know the law with, like, you know, it wasn't.
I tell you what to do. If that happened, gang, you know what scissors do? Cut stuff. Cause he's dripping.
Bad.
Bad exchange?
It wasn't bad, it wasn't good. It was just, you know, I had handled it great until I had got mad and texted her later, and like, I don't remember what I said in the text.
Okay.
Because I was just so mad that she was, like, that she's still lying to me, you know, and that, yeah.
So then you sent her a message, and you,
And I was just getting upset too, because she kept saying stuff like, you should be spending time with the kids, and I'm like, I'm messaging you because they're sleeping. Like, I'm messaging you because, like, I can play with them and text you at the same time, like, you know.
With all of these events combined, there would be one last phone call that pushed Jason to his limits. But that same phone call could have prevented this murder, if not for Jason's hatred.
And you mentioned it was the phone call that kind of set things off, maybe?
That's the thing, like, I mean, there was a phone call, and then about a half hour, 45 minutes later is when I started everything. But, like, even the phone call, it's like, it ended well. You know, like, it had a great ending, even the phone call. Like, she was willing, sounded like she was willing to work with me and stuff, but I think I just didn't believe it, like, you know, and I just didn't want, I know it sounds up, it messed up, but I just didn't.
The truth is, behind closed doors, the P
I didn't want this to end. Like, I wanted to be with them forever. And I felt like this was the only way.
It sounds like Jason actually was close to resolving a lot of his frustration with Debbie. But something after this call and before the attack must have triggered him to go through with this insane and horrifying plan.
Like, I don't mean, like, I don't want to hurt her, but I'll say some things sometimes to hurt her because she hurt me. And, like, but I wasn't doing it to hurt her. Like, that was not my intent. Because, like, if that's what I wanted, I would have, if I really wanted to hurt her, I would have stayed home. I would have waited for her to see the kid like that, and I would have hurt her too.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I would have.
I believe you, Jason. Yeah, I don't think by any means am I sitting here saying you wanted to hurt her, you know? I mean, again.
I don't want to hurt anybody.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. Now, you knew at some point she would come and find you guys.
What Detective Barrera just said catches Jason by surprise, because his actions contradict his statements heavily. How could Jason claim that he didn't plan to hurt her when all his actions would ultimately lead to Debbie finding all three of them unresponsive?
It wasn't until about like noon, 12:30, like, so 12 hours later almost, that's when I realized, like, she's gonna be here soon. Like, I can't, like, I don't want to hurt her. I don't want to, like, I can't be here when she's here because I'm just gonna end up hurting her to give myself more time to be with them.
Yeah.
And so, like, my whole thought process is the only way to get more time to do it is that I'll go drive into something. But then there was just too many cars on the road. I didn't want to hurt anybody else. Like, So I drove to the city, which I don't know my way around. I don't know anything about the city. I've only ever been to Chicago, like, for sporting events, and that's it.
His response to Barrera's question completely falls apart when it's clear his actions left Debbie to discover the gruesome scene, traumatizing her forever. All of this made it clear, not just to detectives, but later a jury, that he was mentally ill and was not fully in control over what he did. In June of 2022, he was charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder, and in February of 2024, pleaded guilty but mentally ill. This means he will serve a life sentence without the possibility of parole, while also receiving mental health treatment. After the story went public, Debbie chose to start a GoFundMe page in order to raise money for the funeral and court expenses, gaining over $70,000. As of December 2024, she's decided to maintain her privacy, but we can hope she's doing her best to move forward and recover from this tragedy.
Man, they both are hung. That's how I feel. Kids got hurt for no reason. They should have never have kids. That's how I feel. Yeah, they tripping. I don't know if I should put a thumbs up. This video just kind of blew me for real. I ain't gonna